Today's lecture is about the age of reason and new classicism. This lecture is presented by Shafakus Sahar. As we know now what restoration is about, when King Charles II, who was living in France as an exile after the judicial murder of his father Charles I, was called back and invited by the people of England to come and join them as their king. Then this event is called restoration of the monarchy. After the restoration, there is a time in England's history that has many different names. It is called Enlightenment, the New Classical Age, the Age of Satire, the Age of Reason, Augustan Age, or the Age of Pope. All these names are used for only one era, that is after restoration of monarchy in England. This Age of Enlightenment was an intellectual movement that emerged in the 18th century, especially in England and France. England and France, two countries, saw a change in their thinking of the general public and their philosophers that is called Enlightenment. It was based on three basic rules. Number one was reason, a tool to guide all knowledge leading to the understanding of the universe through science. It means that whatever a person brings as a logic should have a rational or a reason behind it. Nothing emotional or unreasonable should be accepted by the society. Second point is critical thinking. It means that everyone should develop a way of thinking in which anything that has not a basic reason behind it should be questioned, whether it be religion or social norms or anything else. Number three is progress. This idea that knowledge can transform society and improve human condition. Before that, knowledge was considered only knowledge. It was used to get a job, it was used to improve your intellect. But now this idea came into existence that knowledge can change the face of society. This is a golden age for philosophy. World's greatest philosophers were born there. And what is the philosophy of that age about? Find universal laws of human nature. Mostly the philosophers were concerned that what are the laws that determine human nature, that how human beings are changed and how they are born, what is inborn, what is gained by knowledge or society around them. All that knowledge was considered very important. Then there is poetry and all art, that it should imitate nature. This idea was very dominant, that whatever you paint or you create or you write should be a copy of nature, should be taken from nature. Nature should be your inspiration for everything. Then the new classical writers believed that whatever was written in the classical age by the classical writers should be copied and imitated, because it should be the specimen for all the other writers of any era, any age. Classics were considered a model. On that, the people wrote their works that were different from the classics but still strictly based on their model. Also, that philosophy paved the way for democracy in 19th and 20th centuries, because for the first time this idea was born that human beings are important and they are free. The most important philosopher of that time is John Locke, who was a British philosopher. He believed that man is born free. He believed that all men are equal. When America declared its independence, it is said that John Locke's ideas, his essays, his works were at the root of that. Because after reading him, the American people understood that they are slaves to England and they need to stand up for their independence. John Locke believed in the right to revolution. He said that you should stand against your government if it is doing something wrong. This is the basic right of human beings. And also, he wanted people to use reason versus relying on doctrine. He said to the people that they should consider even religion with a critical mind and look at it critically instead of relying on the books or the things preached to them by the priests and the other religious people. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a French philosopher. He was against Voltaire. He was another philosopher. Voltaire's ideas will be discussed later. Rousseau believed that there should be a social contract, cooperation, which is necessary for human beings. He thought that people should be closely connected in a society to benefit from civilization. He also brought about the idea of noble savage. Before Rousseau, the Europe and America believed that all the other nations, especially the people who don't live in the cities, are savages. But Rousseau brought out this idea that savages, the people living in the lower conditions like in the jungles or in the caves or anywhere, they have their own set of rules, and sometimes that set of rules is even more noble than that of an American or an Englishman. He also said something that is very popular even today: man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. Rousseau believed in the human being's independence and he did not like the slavery or all the other forms of it. Ownership and power of monarchy, artificial constructs. He believed that a king has no divine right to be a king and people should have a right to rule themselves. He was a deist, and deist is a person who does not believe in heavenly revelations or wahi, someone who believes that every religion should be based on facts. Thomas Hobbes is one of the greatest political thinkers of the time. He influenced even the making of the Constitution of England. Hobbes had written a book, Leviathan. Leviathan is the name of a legendary monster, but here he meant power by Leviathan. He said that power should be representative of people. Then this would be the real power, the lawful power, the legitimate power. If the power is in the hand of a dictator, it is no longer solid power. So there should be always people elected by other people, and they would have a power that is backed up by their followers and the society behind him. If a person doesn't have people behind him, he is not powerful. Then he also believed that if we live without rule, without the society's rule, it would not be a very good thing, because this is going to be a condition in which human beings will be in sort of jeopardy. They would not be able to make a safe society. Rule or the power or the constitution is important for human beings. Voltaire was one of the greatest philosophers France has ever produced. He thought that the individual person, one person, can improve the world. And he believed in the power of individuality. Not as a nation, he thought that only one person, if he tries to change the world, he can do it. He wrote very harsh satires against the church. He disliked the power of the church in his country and everywhere else, and he did not like the power they exerted on people. He was a deist, again, that he would not believe in a religion because it is a heavenly religion. He would believe in a religion that makes sense to him. Voltaire believed that life is filled with pain and tragedy, and there is no way to avoid all these things. He also thought that we should not rely completely on logic. We should also use our common sense to understand things. His novel Candide is a sort of optimistic novel, and it shows two sets of people. Some of them are optimistic, that means they think positively and they believe that half the glass is filled, and there is another set of pessimistic people who believe that human nature is inherently bad. So his novel shows both of these types of people pitted against each other. He has written this book in the parody of a travel book because the travel books were very popular in that era. What sort of literature was being written in the Age of Enlightenment? The idea was that the poets should follow the classical poets. The classical poets mean like Homer and Virgil, Horace, and also Ovid. Jonathan Swift, a writer, wrote The Battle of the Books. In that time, there are also many other books that by Jonathan Swift that are written in the satire's way, and he was the famous satirist of that age. Satire's definition is that it is a tool to correct the moral and social behavior of society and to inspire a more balanced, moderate, and harmonious life. While Jonathan Swift has even satired the satire, he says that it is like a mirror, and in this mirror, you can see everyone's face except your own. That means that one person who is writing satire or tons or any other person, that person does not judge himself, only judges the people in front of him, which is not fair. The literature was very extensive in that time. Satirical essays were written, satirical newspapers were published, satirical novels were published. Tom Jones by Henry Fielding is one of the great examples. And travel diaries were very popular, especially of the places where most people do not go. Satire has a definition that writing that comments humorously on human flaws. When you write something in a funny way and you point out the problems or flaws or the shortcomings of human beings, their ideas, the social customs or institutions, because you want to change them, then your work would be called a satire. Nowadays, the political cartoons are a satire because the cartoonist wants the government to act in a different way. That is why he satirizes the government. He puts them into the way of satire to show what they really must do and change their stance. Travel books were very famous. It was the age of exploration, and foreign countries were reached by Britain, so travelogues were completely in fashion. And people wrote a lot of travelogues, and the public wrote them. The Candide by Voltaire and Gulliver Travels by Jonathan Swift are parodies of travel books of that time. The famous authors are Alexander Pope. His works are very famous. Rape of the Lock, his poem is his masterpiece. Jonathan Swift wrote Gulliver's Travels. This is again one of the greatest works of literature. Samuel Johnson created dictionary. Voltaire wrote Candide. Samuel Johnson is known for his witty aphorism, that mean the short sayings that state a truth or an idea of a person. He wrote the first English dictionary ever in 1755. He worked on the dictionary for 8 years, and the king gave him a pension for life. That means that Johnson didn't have to work for his living. He could very easily sit and write his dictionary, and he had no economical problems. Thanks for watching. Hope it helps in your studies.